Alright you guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Weavile. Now Weavile was actually spurred on originally by this Weavile, the Rule of Evil Weavile that is 60 to everything with an ability. Now if you think about that, that's going to hit Porygon 2, that's going to hit Claydol. It's just kind of like a weaker Raikou Entei Legend. Granted, we do have ways to supplement that damage, such as the Tapu Koko, right? If you Flying Flip first and then Rule of Evil, you're going to get rid of all our support Pokemon. So that's one way of doing it. We got a couple other things in here as well. But it is kind of, I know Grady hates when I use this term, but it is kind of a toolboxy deck in terms of it does have spread, it does have one-shot ability, it does have recovery, it's got a little bit of everything to make it kind of work, and that's what I love about it. So Rule of Evil, 60 to everything that has an ability, including your own, so we do play a Mr. Mime to prevent you from hitting yourself. This Weavile has Dark Penalty. If the defending Pokemon does not have a tool, this attack does nothing. But if they do have a tool, it's 90 for 1 energy that can be amped up with stuff like Special Dark, Dark Claw, Muscle Bane, that sort of thing. So this Weavile is actually really good in that regard. And then this Weavile here, Vilify, discards many Pokemon from your like, 30 times the number of heads. You can also build the deck kind of around this as well. There are cards that do mesh with this. We have cards to mesh with this, cards to mesh with this, and cards to mesh with this. You get a little bit of everything here. It's a 3-3 line. In case you were wondering about the Sneasel line, all 3 of these Sneasels do have free retreat as well. These 2 are virtually the same. The only thing that makes them different is that weakness and resistance. That's why you can play them, otherwise they are the same. If you know a little bit of trivia fact about this card, it is one of the few Pokemon to ever be permabanned by Pokemon in competitive tournaments, but we're going to play it because, hey, it's U150, we can play whatever the frick we want. Kind of. Maybe. Not always. But anyways, 3-3-3, boom, there you go. Some other supplemental cards, we also are playing a 1-1 Yveltal Break line. For acceleration, not only this stuff is all attacking for 1 or 2 energies, doesn't really need acceleration, but it's nice to soften some stuff up. Darkness Blade's a really good attack as well. 100 damage for 3 on 130 HP non-EX. And then Yveltal Breaks attack 120 and 30 to everything on their bench. So that's something that does go well with Rule of Evil and Hail, for instance. It actually only does 30 to everything that has damage on it already. So you need to be able to Hail once, you need to be able to Rule of Evil once before you can take advantage of Baleful Night. So those are all there. To increase your Baleful Night damage, you do have Crobat. This also does help with Rule of Evil. If you really need to knock out that Porygon Z with 70 HP, you can Flash Fight it and then Rule of Evil it to knock it out right away. Or you can play Crobat, scoop up, play Crobat, put 2 damage counters on their Baltoy, and then Rule of Evil it. Crobat very helpful there. Like I said earlier, Tapu Koko is also in the deck, 20 to everything, so that Rule of Evil can sweep, or even a couple of Flying Flips plus a Baleful Night can also take some knockouts. We also are playing a damage play Spiritomb. This deck does have a lot of spread capabilities, so being able to move those damage bases off on attack. We're already playing Dark Energies, so it kind of just makes sense to play this Spiritomb. We're also going to play here some other support Pokemon before we get to the other ones. Lopunny, it's so that you can bench Lopunny and then use Weavile to bring this back to your hand and then Vilify it away. When Vilify was played in Standard, you played like a 4-3 Lopunny line, or I think it was like a 3-4 Lopunny line, or something like that, to bounce it back to your deck and then Vilify it away. You also, when you played this, you played 4 Executes, because they were always in your discard pile and you could bring them all back to your deck, or bring it back to your hand. The problem is we can only play 1 of them, so this is just ways to get extra damage. Plus Wishy-Washy for cowardice, you put it on your bench, you Sycamore away, and then you bring it back to your hand for when you need to Vilify. And then as I did mention, we do play the Mr. Mime, so that Rule of Evil doesn't hit our bench. Those are all of your Pokemon there. Like I said, it is kind of random and toolboxy, but, if you hate that term, whatever. Greedy, looking at you. We are playing all 10 of the support Pokemon. You could play Porygon Z with this deck especially as well because it is a spread-based deck, but with damage play it kind of acts as a little bit better. Plus we don't need Devo Spray or whatever, but you could add it if you needed the Porygon Z. It is something to consider because it is a spread, not a spread-based deck, but it does have a lot of option for that spread. So keep that in mind when building it. Looking at supporters, not a whole lot of special stuff here. Search-wise, you have Karina, Collector, Skylab, Bebes, and Rosies, and Wallies. All standard-looking stuff there. Search, or Shuffle, Draw, or just Draw, rather. You have Admins and N, You have Sycamore and Juniper, as well as Pont, Sages, Copycat, and Colress. Your draw 2 cards, you're going to have Twins, Teammates, and Mallow, all 3 here. Twins, because it is, like I said, it is a little bit spready, so you could fall behind early with this. It does take a while to rack up all that damage and then start sweeping board. Switch, you have Lysander, Guzman, and AZ, and Mr. Brimey's Compassion. The reason you have both of these is for Vilify. If you need that extra 60 damage, Brimey something up and then Vilify it away. And then your extra stuff, you're going to be looking at Iris, Trump Card, Marlies, and Hex. All pretty standard. The only thing that's not standard is the extra one here, so that Vilify could do more damage if you need it. There's as simple as that. Excuse me. Moving on to items. I don't think there's anything kind of out of the ordinary here either. Search, you're going to see Luxury Ball and Level Ball, as well as Computer Search, Swoop, Evo Soda, PCOM, and Ultra Ball. The standard, I think these are that's 7 there. The standard 7 that's in pretty much every deck. Draw, you're going to see Bill, Oak, and Misty's Wrath. Pretty much those 3 are in every deck as well, with you might see Acrobike as the 4th, but this deck you don't really need it. Recovery options, you're going to see Item Finder and Junk Arm. You're going to see Versus Secret Pal Pad for your support recovery. And then you're also going to have a little bit extra recovery here in form of Retriever, Stretcher, and Time Space Distortion. That's for Vilify. Time Space Distortion especially for Vilify to add that extra 30, 60, 90 damage. Then extra stuff here, we're going to see Oak's Invention, Escape Rope, Scoop Up, Field Blower in every deck, and then we are playing Dark, so it makes sense to play Dark Patch. If you're playing a Dark-based deck, you need to have Dark Patch in your deck. So just a little bit, so to recap that, a little bit extra recovery for Vilify, but outside of that, Dark Patch is the only thing that's not staple. Stadium Supporters items. Here we're going to see Broken Time Space because you're playing Evolutions. And then Moonlight Stadium give you everything Free Retreat because most of your stuff is Dark or Psychic. So Free Retreat there is just kind of your extra stadium. There isn't a lot you need. You could play stuff like just like stadiums that are based in spread-based decks. Stuff as like Team Magma's base or Frozen City, that sort of thing. You could, but you really don't need to because it's not based off spread. It just has a spread element to it. That's what I would say. Moving on to items, you're going to see Floatstone, as well as Muscle Band, Dark Claw, and Choice Band for that extra damage. It does kind of rack up. It's really nice to Lysander up their Claydol, and then Rule of Evil with Muscle Band on. That does knock out the Claydol, so having extra ones of these is nice. EXP Share, slap that onto your Baby Eviltal, so that eventually you can come up and start swinging. And then we also play Headringer and Jamming Net. The reason that we play both of these is for the Weavile from Next Destinies, this guy here, that does 90 for 1 if they have a tool. So against an EX, you throw those on there and swing for 90, or 110, 120. So that's why we play those. It does activate this as a 1 energy attacker, can hit some big numbers. So we play both of those. Also, you got to keep in mind that usually your opponent will throw a Floatstone or a Fluffy Berry on their Claydol Porygon 2, just to keep it from getting Lysander stalled. So that's a great target for that Porygon, or for that Weavile. Hit their bench sitters that they already attached to. You're playing all the Elite Four, boom, 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 and Dowsing Machine. No reason not to play any of these. Dowsing Machine's the best spec in the game. So, there's all those. And then for support Pokemon, you got DCE, or Special Energies. Wow, support Pokemon. God, I'm really off of it. DCE, that's for Coco mainly. If you're really worried about the Coco, you could play an Upper Energy as well. DCE is generally enough just for Coco. Special Dark, because we are playing a Dark deck. Really makes sense to play a Special Dark. And then 3, 6, 9, 11 there. That's more than enough. It's to charge up your big boppers such as Eviltal and that sort of thing. Kind of guarantees that you have it. It helps to get those dark energies in the discard pile for Darkness, Oblivion Wing and Dark Patch. You don't really need a Battle Compressor for that stuff, but this does help for that. Just playing 11 works. You could drop down 1 or 2 if you're looking for more space, such as that Porygon Z or that Devo Spray, stuff like that. You could drop an energy or 2. So yeah, that does it for Weavile. It is kind of a pretty straightforward deck. It does have a lot of cool aspects to it. A lot of spread aspects, a lot of one-shot stuff. You know, really, really cool Pokemon. It is kind of just a dark deck, but Yeah, some cool aspects. I will note that you could do a cute little combo here with Porygon Z. This deck would be the one for it. We're going to be working on a deck concept. Here's your preview for the next 64. One of the deck concepts will be a lock deck based around Red Card, Delinquent, Weavile, and Porygon Z. So what you do is you Porygon Z all their support Pokemon back to their hand, you Red Card them into the deck, then you Delinquent them, and then you evolve into the Weavile from Undaunted to Claw Snag their last card, and then you either use Absol to second sight them or Slow King to rearrange the top card of their deck, and just make sure they have nothing on their field and just go from there. So Weavile can play that as well, so you could tech that combo into here. It would need Porygon Z, Devo Spray, you need those two, plus Claw Snag, Weavile, Red Card, and Delinquent. That's only 5 cards to add, not hard to drop from there. You could just straight drop this Weavile here, which would mean you would drop the Ace of the Flare tools as well. So there's 3 spots there, plus an energy for a Devo Spray, and now you only need to drop 1 more card for the Porygon Z, and you have all of your stuff that you could need. So yeah, if you have any questions based off Weavile, please let me know. If not,